Welcome back to the channel for another video on our 22 WRX. This week we're getting new tires put on the car. I was kind of debating on what tires to get. These tires were some Hankook Ventus Evo V2s, and they were like, let's say like 200 and change per tire, so it's like 800 for the set. So for 800 bucks, they lasted maybe a year. The backs are completely wrecked. The fronts have a lot of wear on them too. We only have like 7,000 or 8,000 miles on these tires and they're already gone. So I'm gonna try something different. Adam LZ is sponsored by Tire Streets. So I already have the car loaded up with our new Tire Street tires. We're gonna try these things out. The whole set was only $280 shipped to my door, and it got here in like 2 days. So can't complain about availability or delivery. Now we did go one size up. We have a 255 4018 to go on. Currently we have the stock size tire. It's a 245 4018. So I'm really excited to get the wider tire on, and I'm really excited to test out these tires. These are the PHI tires. The tread pattern looks like a Pilot Super Sport. Obviously it's not, but that's what the tread pattern looks like. It is a 400 tread wear tire. This is a 320 and this wore out pretty quick, so maybe the 400 will last a little bit longer. And when we were at the track, we did do a couple extra launches, but we really couldn't cut any better time because, like I said, the rear tires are completely bald. Threads are showing on the driver rear, so we definitely need to get new tires on and in alignment. So we're going to be heading to Wilmington Auto Care down in Wilmington, of course. And they have done our alignment on our BRZ and on this car a few times. So full confidence that they can get this done for us today. But really excited to get these put on just to see what they or feel what they are like. But I'll catch up with you guys at the shop. We're going to head out there the next few minutes. See ya. All right, so we made it to Wilmington Tire and Auto. So they just took the car back in. If it sounds a little weird, I forgot to bring my mic, so this is just like raw on the phone, but they just took the car back. They are going to be putting our new tires on. And once they start the alignment, we will walk over and just kind of tell the guy what we want, but we want more of a like stock alignment. We don't want to run all this camber that we were running before. Now, since we do have some power, we are just roasting these tires. So yeah, we're just going to get like more of a normal alignment, less camber, obviously like minimal toe so we can go straight. So we'll catch up with you guys once it's on the rack, but they're getting the tires mounted, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few minutes. All right, so the car's on the racks. Just talked to the alignment guy, and we just checked out the old tires because the rears were like completely shot. Both were bald. I'll put a picture up on the screen right here on the left of what it looks like, but you can see it's completely bald. So we looked at those tires, and basically what he's saying is that our toe was off in the back, and when we just went under and checked it, the toe adjustment was a little loose. So maybe that's what was going on with the rears, and that's why we wore out the rears so fast. But we're gonna get the car realigned. New tires are on, a little bit wider. It's really close in the back, so we might have to do some trimming on the new flares to make the wider tires fit without raising the car. But let's see how the alignment turns out, and I'll show you guys once we're done. Just checking out the work. You see the tires very close, so we might have to trim right here. But everything else is looking good. The rear is done. He's working on the front right now. I kind of want to stay out of the way because these things are lasers and they have to read to that machine up there. So I'm trying to stay out of the way. I don't want to be that annoying customer that's always like watching, but at the same time, Just want to make sure everything's done correct and everything comes out perfect, but they're honestly doing a perfect job. We pulled some camber out in the back. We got the toe fixed. Everything is super tight in the back. We like triple checked all the adjustments in the back. And we're just gonna check the front real quick and we should be on our way. Now, when we go home, I hope these things are a little quiet. The hand cooks were a little noisy and obviously they wore out really fast. So I'm really curious what these are gonna feel like. It's still the same 40 profile sidewall, but now since we're at 255 instead of a 245, the sidewall is slightly larger, so it will lose a little bit of wheel gap, which we already had none, but we'll lose a little bit more wheel gap, gain a little bit of ground clearance on the bottom, and with like a bigger sidewall, like it should be maybe a more comfortable ride, but we'll see how it goes. But I'll catch up with you guys in the car once we're done. All right, so we made it back to the garage. So I didn't really get to test out the tires too much. I got on it once or twice. As you can see, I got the flare off right there. We are rubbing pretty badly. Like with the car resting, we're almost touching the flare. So there's definitely a lot of room that we can trim on it. Let me get you guys flipped around and I'll show you what we can trim. All right, so on our fender flares here, you can see that there is like a dip right there. And if I flip it over, so you can really see there. So we're rubbing on basically both sides of that. So we're just gonna basically make that cut flat and we'll see how that works, but you can see right there, it's flat. So we can just extend this all the way down and we'll do like a little radius right here to make that smooth. And then we'll pull this forward too, because I can feel right there we're rubbing as well. So we'll probably trim down, just match that line. We get some blue painter's tape and I'll cut it with a Dremel and it should look OEM. You're not even gonna see it because when we clip it on, I mean, you're not even gonna see it, but yeah, just look at that fitment there. Where honestly, it's like perfect as far as like the metal goes, but other than that, we should be all set. Let's get this trimmed up and we'll get this flare put back on. All right, so when you're done cutting, it should look like this. See how it's just nice in a straight line all the way down, basically. So we got rid of that dip. I actually didn't cut right here, so I just matched that line across. So we gained, I don't know, like a 1/4 of an inch of clearance, and that's probably more than what we need, but that's just perfect. And we'll just mimic that on the other side, and we'll be all set, and we'll see what our fitment looks like. And there we have it. The fenders are trimmed up. The wheels are back on the car. So you can see what that fitment is like. So I actually went on a test drive and it's still rubbed. I called Wilmington Tire and Auto back and actually drove back over there and they readjusted my rear. So our original alignment, we had 3.1 degrees of camber in the back. When we first went there, we were at 4 degrees on both sides. I wanted less camber so we can get a little bit better times at the track and just more contact patch on the ground. So we went back, it was still rubbing at 3 degrees, so we did increase it to 3.5 degrees in the back. The front, I believe, is at 2 degrees. Very minimal in the front, basically stock almost is what the front looks like. But you can see the back does have some camber in it. We are at 3.5 degrees in the back on both sides. They realigned it, toe and everything is perfect. So he was letting me know that the control arms that we get for our cars, basically all it does is push out the bottom and the top doesn't really move in too much. Now they do make an upper control arm. I know Cusco makes one, a couple other brands make them too, but they do make an upper control arm that basically we could almost zero out the camber on the bottom and then use the top to pull the top in so we have no more rubbing. But as of right now, we don't have any rubbing after we have that alignment at 3.5 degrees. I did increase the bump stiffness on the rear, so we were at 10. I just put it to 12, so 2 more clicks in the back, 10 clicks in the front still. And this is how she sits, and honestly, with the new tire size, it really fills up the wheel gap in the front. I mean, the front is basically perfect. I mean, anything more and we would definitely be rubbing. And the rears, I mean, the rears are on the edge of rubbing and not rubbing, but they are perfect right now, and I'm very happy with how everything turned out. Now, after driving on the tires for about like an hour today, just back and forth, all city driving and a little bit of highway cruising just because we go on the parkway and then you get into town and stop and go. But the tires, they're honestly really quiet. They're a little bit quieter than the Hancooks. They feel pretty grippy. Granted, I didn't get to like really whip it when I was first driving it because we were rubbing in the back. But coming back, I did get to whip it a little bit and they definitely grip. The 255 is definitely a little bit more contact packed than that 245, and that's probably what's making us grip a little bit better. I'm excited to get back to the track and test out these tires now since we don't have a bald tire. Well, we don't have bald tires, so we'll see what we can do at the track next time, but I am still waiting for a couple other parts to come out. I really want to go back once we have the Cobb Flex Fuel kit. So the Flex Fuel kit should come out any month. Like, I mean, they keep teasing it, like every like month or so they tease this Flex Fuel kit. Once it comes out, we'll definitely be installing it, increasing the power, and then going back to the track and see what we can do on the stock motor. But until then, guys, I'll see you next time. See ya.